All right, we're gonna get started. Alicia Garcia is here, the Boomstick Babe. She's involved in all sorts of two-way stuff all around the state. You guys probably all know every one of them. So give it up for Alicia.
Awesome. Can everybody hear me? Awesome. So my name is Alicia Garcia. It is not Alicia. That hurts my feelings it's not the white pronunciation, but it is Alicia. My name is Alice in Spanish. So if you want to hurt my feelings, call me Alicia. I die inside. I feel like that tranny that goes to Disneyland and says, it's like a knife in the heart every time. So just go ahead, do it. Good thing I carry guns and people think I'm scary because I'm 4'11" and I'm Latina. It's like they think I'm going to whip out the chancla and it's a gun. So it's like, got something better for you. So I thought a lot about what I was going to say when I was here doing this. And I looked over all of the gun control that's going on in Colorado. And I said, okay, if I'm really going to give a rundown of every gun control bill that is going on in Colorado and everything that passed in 2025, I would keep you here all night. Because there was, I believe, 24 bills this year that had the word firearm in it. And if that doesn't terrify you, you're not paying attention. And not only are these gun bills attacking people like you and me that want to just be armed and exercise their human and civil right, what they're doing is also coming after the gun shops. They're coming after the manufacturers. They're coming after basically anyone who wants to resist the narrative, right? And I'm not sure if you guys know who I am. I guess I should introduce myself here for a second. I'm not really good at standing still up here with this microphone, so forgive me. If I stood behind this podium, I'm glad I wore heels. You guys wouldn't have even seen me. I'm like, whoops. So my name is Alicia Garcia. I am a Colorado native, born and raised in Colorado. My family's from Trinidad, Colorado. No, I'm not a dude. I do not have an Adam's apple. I was born a woman, so no, I'm not a tranny. But it is the sex change capital of the world, Trinidad, Colorado, where I'm from. So I grew up, tranny daddy, hey! So I grew up very old school, smart, a small town. You know, my grandfather was a fire chief of the entire town in Trinidad. I loved it. I'm very much a vieja inside. I'm very much an old lady inside. I like to go to thrift stores. I like to, drink coffee with pie after my meal and watch Jeopardy. So, yep, I grew up very old school. And the whole transgender, all those things were very normal to me because I'm from Trinidad. It wasn't like it was like it is today. It was more of a lifestyle choice. Now it's become more of an agenda and an indoctrination and a religion. And a lot of people think because you're two-way, that means you're against gay people, that you're, a right-wing extremist, that you're a fascist, all these statements that they love to say these days just to throw at you. And the truth is that the Second Amendment has no political affiliation, right? The Second Amendment is a human right, the human right of self-defense. It is an animalistic right to survive and live. If you look at all the animals in nature, every single one of them is either predator or prey, right? The tiger has to worry about the cobra, doesn't he? Because it's not about size, it's about venom. It's about the ability to cause harm against someone that wishes you harm. And that is what I'm about. The Second Amendment does not give you the right to bear arms, folks. It affirms it because you have had that right inherently just by being alive. And I get told quite often that the reason that I'm an absolutist is a turnoff to people because they think that means that we're uncompromisable. Well, it doesn't mean that we're uncompromisable. We are solution-oriented. It's just not the same solutions that other people assume that we need. The left is crying for more control. We're over here saying, let everybody have guns, and that way a dead rapist isn't going to reoffend. A dead robber, he's not going to commit another act of violence against anybody with any other tool. He's not going to rob you. A murderer doesn't reoffend if he's neutralized and he leaves in a mop and a bucket. So I know people are like, well, how do you feel about guns for felons? They have them anyway, folks. I hate to break it to you. They're just not getting them from Spartan Defense. They're not getting them from your local mom and pop gun shop. They're getting them from the cartel. They're getting them from breaking into cars and stealing them from people. They're robbing people at home and stealing their equipment. Things that inherent violence is going to do regardless of how we regulate that or how much we cry and bitch and moan. So I'm of the standpoint that, yeah, everybody should have a gun. Doesn't mean that if you don't like guns, you have to have one, but I want everybody to have the ability to have that because to me, it truly is a great equalizer. Yes, I'm a bitch. Yes, I'm scrappy. Yes, I'm Chicana. I can fight with, anything. That's just the fight that belongs in me. But other people don't feel that way. There are some people that maybe they have handicaps, maybe they have disabilities, maybe they're prohibited in some sort of way, and they deserve that right to self-defense. They deserve the ability to obtain these tools so they can level that playing field so they're not walking around as a victim. And I teach concealed carry. You have paperwork in front of you that are on every table that says concealed carry classes of Denver. That is me and my business partner, Mark Schneider. I just recently opened my second classroom in Thornton, Colorado. Yay, woo, woo, yeah. It's so hard for me not to want to start singing la-di-da-di on this mic and start talking like this. But I really enjoy what I do when I ask people, hey, are you educated? Are you armed? They say, well, I'm not interested in having a firearm. And I said, okay, but here's the thing is, do you have an education about what firearms are? And concealed carry classes, I've been told, are, for people that want to learn how to conceal. Well, the truth is most people who want to own a gun don't know where to start. So where do they go? They go to the concealed carry class because they're like, well, this is the resource here. So that's what I'm going to do, right? That's the education, quote unquote, that the government mandates, right? The government is telling you as of July 1st, 2025, that you have to take an 8-hour class. You have to take a written exam. You have to have a live fire portion in order to exercise your constitutional right to self-defense. I don't agree with that. However, I also had to ask the state permission to teach you, even though considering I shoot at least once a week. I practice with my firearm at least once a week, if not more, depending on who's looking and where I'm at. And I also train very hard. I recently just passed a very, very high-level pistol program by USCCA. I passed the defensive pistol program. There's an 81% failure rate for that pistol program, both male and female. There's only 4 women in America who have ever passed it. I'm the 3rd. So, hey, right? So, there's certain things that I can't do. You put me on a pair of roller skates, I'm probably screwed. But when we want to talk about deploying pew-pews for defensive purposes, if you're better than me, teach me something new. But I'm very talented in that aspect, and I want to be that person that you choose to come learn from because I don't teach you how to do what the state is telling you to do. I teach you how to think for yourself. I don't want to sit there and have a conversation and have death by PowerPoint that I obviously didn't bring today because that is boring. Nobody learns that way. And the way people learn is by actually walking the walk and experiencing it for themselves. So I'm here to implore you all to exercise your right to self-defense. Exercise your right to keep and bear arms because that is the only right that is ever going to matter. Your freedom of speech doesn't exist without a way to back it up, baby. I'm from the hood. I grew up a little bit gangster and we straight up said, you talk a lot of shit, you better be able to back it up. Well, I like to back it up with pew-pews and stabby things. I'm a firm believer that the only way that we are going to stop people from committing acts of violence against each other and to our communities is if the risks get higher. Unfortunately, the state of Colorado doesn't value property as your right to self-defense. You cannot defend that perfect little innocent life of a dog if somebody walks up to you in the park, especially in Denver, and decides to kick your puppy or hurt your puppy. You want to know why? Because it's property to Denver. So guess what? You're screwed. You're not even allowed to carry a firearm in Denver in a park or a vulnerable place because they feel that these people know better for you than you know better for yourself. So they say, hey, you know what? We're not going to allow your perspectives to be heard or exercise the voices of the people as we are your legislators. We're going to say, you know what? Yes, we've had hundreds of people show up today because of, grassroots people like myself and my friend Ava and RMGO and CSSA and the Libertarian Party and all these people, the NRA, that come together and say, hey, get your asses down to the Capitol and speak out. They don't care. They don't care about your voice. They don't care about what you want. As a matter of fact, the more that we told them, hey, these laws that you're passing are going to harm our businesses, they said, that is what we want. They said, you don't threaten us with a good time, because we don't want you to have access to a gun shop. We don't want you to have access to suppressors. We don't want you to have access to firearms. We don't want you to have access to life-saving tools because, hey, guess what? We don't value your lives. That's literally what it translates to. And I don't want to be here full of fire and brimstone like, hey, rah, 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 right? But the truth is exactly that. They hate us all equally. And it's not like the government is anti-gun. They're very pro-gun because they hide behind them every day of their lives. They just don't want you to have them because you don't matter. And that's exactly what I really want you guys to understand today as I come here, is that I do a lot of work for this community. Sometimes I get tired. I feel beat up. I feel like I do a lot more than what people see. I'm not one of those people that asks for a lot of gratification from the public or everybody to thank me. I do it because I can't do anything else. Because I feel like I would be betraying my calling. I'd be betraying what God has led me to do. And also because people won't hire me, because after they Google me, they're like, we don't want this bitch here. She's crazy. We know she's gadded and she's not going to listen to anything we tell her to do. So, yeah. The truth is that all of these laws had one thing in common. And the one thing in common that they had was, we're doing this for the children. We're doing this for your safety. And it's under this blanket excuse of that we are going to make this decision, because they say, well, we need to do something, right? We need to do something. Well, the other day, I was with my best friend in the whole entire world. We've been best friends for 25 years. He's a guy. And he has a beautiful house that I live in part-time in Evergreen, Colorado. He's lived there for about 5 years. And on my way to his house, every time I leave and come and go, I have to pass by Evergreen High School. And a lot of people didn't really focus on what happened in Evergreen because of the late Charlie Kirk and the absolute massacre against that man, to which I'm very disgusted and appalled with, and has upset me very much, because whether I agreed with the man on everything, I agreed with what he stood for, and I agreed with what he does, because I do the same thing. I speak to people that don't like me about topics they don't like and force people to face the uncomfortable truths of America that we're living in. And what I realized that day is how many people would have celebrated me being murdered, for being resistant, for going against the grain, for saying, no, not today. Yesterday's price is not today's price. We've done it your way. And it's led us nowhere except down a road where Colorado is now, in the top 10 in the nation for violent crime, depending on that crime. We're 6th in the nation for rape. We are infected with illegal gangs. We're infected with cartel, with gangs that are from Colorado as well. Don't think that the Bloods and the Crips don't live here and they're not flourishing. I had a house in Park Hill for 10 years. I had people shooting and all that stuff going on all the time. It's just because there's nice neighborhoods doesn't mean that it's not ghetto or it's not gangster. And there's people that are literally fighting to feed their families and stay alive every day, but nobody's putting a spotlight on their struggle because it doesn't fit the narrative. And when we're talking about not fitting the narrative, the shooting that happened at Evergreen High School did not fit the narrative, folks. This kid showed up at school with a revolver, with a wheel gun. In 9 minutes, he shot 30 rounds, loading and reloading, right? And what I want to tell you about that is evil will always find a way, right? Because it's illegal to have a gun in a school. That law was broken. It's illegal to steal a gun. That law was broken. It's illegal to be under the age of 18 or 21, in the state of Colorado and be in possession of a firearm, right? Right? That law was broken. Murder is illegal. Having a gun at a school is illegal, right? All of these things were illegal, but guess what? He did it with a gun that they say that's all you need, right? That's all you need, sir. That's all that lady who is 95 pounds, wet and wearing boots, her hands look like paper. They tell her that's all you should need, even though she probably can't press a 7 or 11 pound trigger because her hands are too weak. Because of course, once again, we come back to this topic that they know what's better for you than you do. So when we're talking about these acts of violence, one thing that all of these school shootings have in common is antidepressants, indoctrination, telling these kids that, hey, go play your video games where you're, immersed in violence. We're not spending time with you. You're not playing outside. We don't have adult conversations. You get your participation trophy. And hey, you can be a boy if you want to be a boy. You can be a girl if you want to be a girl. You could lop off your breasts. You could lop off your wiener. You could do all these harmful things to yourself. And by telling them that they could not love themselves, it's okay to not love others and to not have a respect for life. And when we talk about the right to bear arms, it's not always about the gun, folks. I want to really change your mind about how you think about guns. We need to change the way we talk about them. We need to change the way we refer to them. Because one of my no-nos in my class is the word weapon. We don't say that word. And I want to implore you to stop saying the word weapon when referring to a firearm, because it's not a weapon, it's a tool. You're the weapon. Your mind is the weapon. Your voice is a tool. A knife is a tool. A car is a tool. Your vote, that's a tool. You are the weapon. When we go to the gun shop, we don't say, I'm going to the weapon shop. When you go to Ace Hardware or Lowe's, you don't say, I'm going to go to the weapon shop. People die every day from blunt force trauma with hands and fists. People die from texting while driving more than they do from gun violence. According to the CDC, which is notoriously anti-gun, 50,000 people die every year from gun deaths and mass shootings. Well, also according to the CDC, 500,000 to almost 2 million people use firearms in defense of life every year. And that's only what they document. Imagine all of the times that firearms are used because no round was shot out of that firearm. Saying, hey, back the F up tends to check people really quick if they're trying to do something harmful to you, unless they have a gun too. And that's one thing I want people to understand is it's not always about the gun. Just because you're walking around with a loaded firearm on your body, I need you to assume so is everyone else. And you need to start playing the game of chess, not checkers. Because I want you to be peaceful, not harmless. I want you to sharpen the weapon that is the mind. And I want you to carry the tool that backs it up. Because these politicians don't give a shit about you. And I hate to keep cussing, but sorry, I'm single with no kids. I can say whatever I want. I hope the babies in here don't mind either, but oh well. Firearms are inherently a tool of either liberty or oppression. Depends on who's behind that trigger. And gun control is inherently racist, folks. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that. Does everybody know the history of gun control in this room? Well, gun control was created by the KKK and the Democrats. And I'm sorry, it's true. So back in the 1800s, the Republican Party wanted to give socio-political and economic equality to people of color. And I'm not just talking about black people. I'm talking about people that look like me, that we were the savages in our history books. We don't have a civil rights movement in American history books because our people were eradicated. Our people were called savages, right? We were the cockroach people of the world, okay? There was also Asian people that were coming over in droves trying to flee, communistic ways and tyrannical ways. So it's not just about the color of your skin. It was about you being something that we can control. And as the greatest and most original domestic terrorist group, the KKK, said, we want to keep the monopoly of violence. We don't want these people of color to be able to resist. And at that time, those people were your police officers. They were your judges. They were your military. So you had no way to avoid it. So when the Republican Party said, no, we want to give these people an opportunity to life, love, and the pursuit of liberty and peace, they said, no, we're not going to do that. So what they did is they ratified state constitutions throughout the South. One particular is the Army and Navy ban or gun ban that they did in Tennessee that said, Alicia, you're the only 10 I see. Just kidding. They said, if you cannot afford a Army or Navy firearm, which was about $1,000 then, which is still very impositive today, you don't get to have one. So again, it was a barrier for people to be able to acquire tools of liberty. What do you think they're doing right now at the state capitol? It's beyond racist at this point. It's truly a disservice to you to not be involved in politics. It's truly a disservice for you not to be having these difficult conversations with the people in your life that disagree with you. You have to get out of your echo chamber, folks. You have to start attending events where they don't want you there. You have to start having humane conversations, being peaceful but not harmless, and you have to hold these people accountable and say, hey, what about this though? And you need to conduct yourself with a very superior level of integrity because we are being judged very specifically because we are representing a democratic part or a demographic of liberty-minded people, and they're looking for you to screw up. They're looking for any reason to discredit you and call us crazy or all these things. And every day that you wake up and you exercise your First Amendment right, you get involved, you speak to people, you normalize and humanize gun culture again, we're defeating their agenda. And that's very important that we begin to humanize gun culture. Because I had somebody tell me the other day that they don't agree with open carry. They don't agree with, us having guns in certain places. It's disrespectful to go to people's homes and to go to these businesses and to exercise your right to self-defense and have a firearm on you. And I said, okay, you're entitled to your opinion, but would you say that to someone like Elijah Dickin, who, with his firearm over a very, very crowded lunchroom area, saved hundreds of lives that day because he exercised his right to carry a firearm where they told him he couldn't, and all of those people went home that night because he saved their life? Would they say that to John Hurley, who is dead right now? The law enforcement officer that killed John Hurley is alive today because of John Hurley. Because he heard gunfire, and instead of running away from it, he ran into action. And he used his concealed carry firearm with extreme proficiency, God bless that man, to save hundreds of lives that day. So those voices matter too. And those people's lives that were saved that day matter. And yet nobody's talking about why we're still allowing those voices and those names not to be said, right? Stephen Williford, the barefoot defender, who ran into a church with his rifle to stop people from dying from a madman shooting up his church. There's countless stories like this, and there's countless heroes, and I encourage you all, please say their names too. Say their names in conversations. Speak about them because they need to be heard too. Their voices matter too. Their agenda mattered too. Because all we ever hear is the names of victims that are slain because of evil, but we're not celebrating those that strapped a gun on their hip that day and said, you know what, I'm a protector. I'm a protector of life. I'm a protector of innocence. And I'm a guardian. I'm a guardian for safety. Because I'm going to promise you this, and I'm telling everybody this so you can see me and know that I'm real. I don't do this because this is cool. I don't do this because everybody sends me all kinds of money and I'm living it up, with my whiskey and my full auto and my cigars. And, look at all the peasants out there that are defenseless. Everybody has a right to want to fight and to stay alive. I don't care if if you have one gun or 50, you deserve this right. And the reason I do this is because I'm a dirty civilian, folks. I'm not law enforcement. I'm not military. I'm not one of these people that has all these accolades and tells you, oh, be like me because I'm cool. No, be like me because I love the hell out of myself, you guys. I love me so much. I think I'm the coolest thing ever. When I look at my face, I see my dad, and I see my brother, and I see my goddaughter. I see my ancestors looking at me when I look at myself. And I know those people love me, and I know what they did to make sure that I had the freedoms that I have now. And I want to teach you to do that for yourself. I want you to know that you are one of one. You are so precious and so beautiful and so vibrant and so special that you need to take every precaution and everything necessary to make sure that you get home safety to your family. Because that's the true value that we're protecting here. We're protecting your ability to grow old. Because a lot of these people don't understand what a luxury and a privilege it is to grow old. A lot of people aren't afforded that, especially in other countries that don't have the freedoms that we do, that are being persecuted for fighting for the freedoms that we do. We're having people that are getting arrested in Europe for Facebook posts, folks. People are dying in the streets because they say their president's a piece of shit. I want you to be able to say whatever you want. And I want you to be able to say, you know what? If you hate me, that's cool. Stay the hell away from me and stay over there. Because I can make sure that I get home tonight because I have this beautiful contraption that I've mastered that says, fuck you, no. But your voice has that same power. Your flick of your pen when you file to be a registered voter has that power. When you vote, that has that power. When you get your asses off of your seats and go down to the Capitol and look these tyrants in the face and say, no, you're not gonna make these decisions for me. That has power, but we have to back it up. We have to back it up. We can't sit here and keep complaining about what everybody else is doing when you're not doing a damn thing. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So not only do I need you to get yourself registered to vote, I need you to take somebody with you. I need you to have hard conversations. I need you to volunteer your time. I need you to volunteer your money. And I need you to walk the walk because I ask everybody at the beginning of my conceal carry class, raise your hand if you know who Kyle Clark is. Raise your hand if you know who, your Denver Bronco quarterback is. Now raise your hand if you know who your senator is. Now raise your hand if you know who your House representative is, and they can't do it. And that's the problem, is they are okay with you having the bread and circuses, but they're not okay with you knowing their names when they're the ones making decisions for your future and your children's future. And I've said this previously, and I'll say it again. We did not inherit this land from our ancestors. We are borrowing it from our children, folks. And they are living in a world right now where they don't understand what freedom is. And America was founded because we didn't want their stinking tea. Because they try to gun grab all of our arsenals for our cannons and our ammunition. We need to remember that we don't like fucking tea. Okay? I like my tea twisted. Okay? So I'm going to give you a real brief update on what some things are going on in the two-way, and then we'll start for some questions. My friend Catching is here from Rocky Mountain Gun Owners. I spoke to Ian yesterday about what RMGO is doing, and I'll tell you from the words of Ian's mouth what he said. Ian said, hey, Alicia, make sure to tell these people that we are moving around all over the state and having conversations with people in their homes, in their hometowns, because a lot of rural Colorado does get left out, guys. They don't have the luxury and leisure to go down and testify. They get left out, and they're very important. So Rocky Mountain Gun Owners is traveling around to have those conversations with them, to give them legislative updates, and to get them involved. And one of the things he wanted me to convey to you is that if you want more activity from RMGO, pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, we want you to do a legislative update in our town. We want to host this. We want to host that. And they will do it. But a closed mouth don't get fed. So if you're an RMGO fan, hit them up. They're currently seeking federal intervention with Trump's administration to discuss certain things that are happening. They're not at privy right now to divulge that information, but as soon as they have an update for us, they will. They're looking to procure candidates to run against these tyrants because if you're not aware, a lot of these seats were ran unopposed, folks. That's embarrassing. If you think you can win, run, because guess what? You have a better chance than nobody running. Right? You're just giving it away at this point, and that's called compliance, and that's weak, and I don't like that. They're ensuring that activists are getting trained. He said that he's putting together a grassroots army to engage in upcoming sessions, to get volunteers to get involved with the local GOP and get help with candidates. Volunteer for the candidate that you believe in, guys. Get involved on your local level. Get on your school boards. Get on your city council. Do it. Look who these people up and help them. None of us ever really know what we're doing until we just decide to learn, right? You have to embrace the suck and educate yourself. So help these people be successful. You got to embrace the suck. You do. If you want to get better at anything, you have to learn that you're not going to be the best at it right away. I wasn't the best pistolera when I picked up a gun, but guess what? I sucked. And I decided I'm going to suck less every day. And now here I am, and there's people that actually showed up to listen to me talk, and I still can't believe it. Register to vote, as he said. He said he has things called the 5 steps as a gun owner that you can do to reach out to him. He's happy to share that. If you guys want to have conversations with Catching after this in a little mingle, feel free to talk to him. I know he's open to those types of questions. One of the things that you guys may not also know about me is I am the Director of Public Relations and Communications for the Colorado Federal Firearms Licensee Association. That was founded last year in the last quarter of the year because of the gun control that was coming our way to gun shops. They're putting a lot of restrictions on mom and pop gun shops to prevent them from being able to conduct business. So please, please, please stop shopping at Shields. Please stop shopping at Sportsman's Warehouse because you want to save $30. That's not helping the movement, folks. These people are in the fight. They're showing up at the Capitol. They're shutting down their businesses because they want to maintain to be able to feed their kids. Support the local mom and pop gun shops, please. Even if you got to drive, whatever you have to do, please do that. I am also the plaintiff in Garcia versus Polis as co-plaintiff with Rocky Mountain Gun Owners. And I'm very happy to be involved with that. I feel like such a big dog when I got into that. We filed lawsuit against that on October 1st. Yes, October 1st, 2023. So that is why I chose today to speak to you guys, because we have been fighting this since 2023. And it is not cheap. And God bless Mountain States Legal Foundation because they are doing this pro bono because they are very, very much about freedom. They have a lot of cases like Jaden Rodriguez, who wore the Gadsden flag to school, etc. There's pamphlets back there talking about Mountain States Legal. Please feel free to donate to them and their grassroots activism in that. So a couple weeks ago when I was in Texas on range shooting for my defensive pistol program qualification, I get a very, very nice call from Ian Escalante saying that we just received great news out of New Mexico because Mountain States Legal took up a case that is by the name of Ortega that they filed in New Mexico that found that the 10th Circuit said, you know what? The 7-day waiting period in New Mexico is unconstitutional. Yeah, bitches. All of these laws are unconstitutional. But the reason that this is very pinnacle is because Colorado is also part of the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. So which means that Colorado has to follow the ruling of a higher court. Well, I hate to break it to you, but my judge in this case is ancient. He is a Jimmy Carter appointee by the name of Kane. When we had the hearing for this case, he looked at me like this when I was over here. And he said, hey, I have to look at this monitor at my bench because it has the words and video because I can't hear or see very well. And then he ruled against us. So Mountain States Legal said, no, we're not going to take this lightly. So they maneuvered themselves to be very strategic and get this ruling in New Mexico. So according to my attorneys, what is happening is our case is basically just treading water right now. Over the summer, both parties, the state and us, completed pre-trial briefings. I had to go down and be basically interrogated by the state. Of course, Jared Polis didn't show up. I was like, what the heck? You're going to put your name on this case, but you're not going to put your fat ass in the room with me? How sucky you are. You coward, right? Like you hate this so much, but you can't even come down here and fight like a man. You can't even fight me. But he didn't show up. He had his attorneys do it. I guess that's what happens when you're a billionaire that is plotting to overtake the state. He had other things that were more pressing, I guess. So both of the defense and Mountain States Legal submitted motions for summary judgment. Most of these motions are in front of Judge Kane right now for his review and his decision. It's very unlikely that this judge will take any action on my case until the Ortega appeal is fully decided. The defendant in Ortega have filed petition for rehearing, and it's called en bond, which means they want all the judges at the 10th Circuit to rehear the case, believing they will overturn the ruling and that 3-judge panel issued in August. So that's hopeful. If the petition is granted, it would likely be at least 6 months before Ortega is finally decided in the 10th Circuit Court. We anticipate that Judge Kane will not likely take any action until the 10th has been issued in its final mandate in the Ortega case. So again, it is one big fat waiting game. And this is why I want to tell you right now, this is why it's so important that we cut these bills off at the pass. I hear so many people, apathetic people saying, oh, we'll just sue. Oh, that's unconstitutional. That's not going to stand up. Well, guess what, folks? That shit's standing up. All of these laws are unconstitutional. And look what's happening. I was also asked about Senate Bill 25003. Good friends of mine, the Colorado State Shooting Association, filed a lawsuit with 7 different plaintiffs regarding SB 25003. The reason that they filed now before the law goes into effect, it goes into effect August 1st, 2026, is everybody in here, before I assume you know what it is, know what SB 25003 is. It is a ban on semi-automatic magazine-fed firearms, and is also a ban on forced reset triggers. But what people are failing to understand, it's not just forced reset triggers. It's all triggers that would change the normal trigger pull to make the gun faster at your next follow-up shot. So it goes deeper than just forced reset triggers. It's any type of trigger. Well, my good friend Israel Del Turo, I call him DT. He's my crispy homeboy. He is a Purple Heart veteran. He is a Bronze Star Award winner. He's my crispy homeboy. He was burned over 90% of his body. He's missing an entire hand on one side, and he has like some little baby nubs on this side. And he is one of their plaintiffs because all of these laws prevent him from being able to still defend himself. He needs a brace. He needs a forced reset trigger. He needs all of these things and magazine-fed firearms in order for him to be able to defend himself. So a shout out to Spartan Defense and my business partners in the Second Syndicate for connecting that. We originally had Del Turo working with Firearms Policy Coalition, but it was taking some time. So we handed him over to the CSSA to get this lawsuit filed, which is very amazing. There's a lot of other plaintiffs in that case that you should look into and make yourself aware of them. Some of them are anonymous. Some of them are domestic violence abuse survivors. Some of them have medical issues. There's all different types of plaintiffs. So I think they're doing a very, very good job. Normally, you have to wait until that law goes into effect in order to sue over that law. That is why a lot of these laws have not been litigated by any other organizations, because they haven't been imposed yet. But the forced reset trigger part of that lawsuit has been, or that bill has been imposed. So that they were able to file suit amongst other things. I do have a nonprofit called the Second Syndicate that I put together this year with Spartan Defense. We are a grassroots movement in the state of Colorado fighting against your rights. I've been going down to the Capitol for the past 5 years fighting against gun control, but I am tiny and I am mighty, but I am also tired. And I cannot do this alone. I need all of you and everybody that you know to get involved. You have some pamphlets that are around here that say the Second Syndicate that has some QR codes. You're welcome to scan them and know a little bit more about who we are. We also have some really cool giveaways that we're doing. That one is called Operation Arm the Educators. We are working in support of Faster Colorado. Does everybody in here know what Faster Colorado is? Faster Colorado has been in Colorado for about 9 years, created by a woman by the name of Laura Carno. And what they do is they train staffers that are in schools to arm themselves against violent people that would want to come into those schools and harm them. Tuition in order to go through the FASTER program is about $1,000. So if you're a teacher, you're an educator, you're a custodian, you're a lunch lady, that's a lot of money, folks. So what the Second Syndicate said, you know what, we're going to change that. We're going to raise as much money as we possibly can to pay the tuition and equip these people. So since they're putting their lives on the line, at least we could do is help them. So we have these pamphlets they're all around on your desks and stuff, that every $5 donation from now until Thanksgiving goes to enter you in to win a Springfield custom engraved 1911. And that donation goes directly to our Operation Arm the Educators. So you do get an incentive to do so. We will host a giveaway for it. $5, literally a donation, will get you entered in to win a 1911. That's pretty spiffy. So the more money we want, of course, donate as much as you can. But you support the movement, man. This is our way of saying, we're not waiting for these legislators to decide for us what's important or what's not, or make these laws. We are the community, and we're going to take initiative, and we're going to be solution oriented, and we're going to mobilize ourselves. So I implore you to mobilize yourself and get involved. And I'll get off my soapbox for that. If you guys want to support me, I'd really appreciate it. You can support me by booking a class. You can give certificate somebody for a class to come train with me because I'm pretty stinking awesome. You can donate to the Second Syndicate. We also have some other things going around that says, hey, if you follow us on all our platforms, you get entered into win another gun. So if you guys want to ask me questions or whatever, let me know. And other than that, my name is Alicia Garcia. And I am my own first responder, folks. Thank you for your time and showing up for me. It really means a lot.
All right.
Hello again.
Hello.
The first question is, how do we get past the massive amount of money by Michael Bloomberg?
That's a great question. Well, what we need to do is you guys need to start getting in touch with a lot of these political people that are also in Hollywood. Roseanne Barr, Rob Schneider. There's a lot of conservative people and movements that you don't know about because you're stuck in your echo chamber and you're not mingling. But there's such a thing called 6 degrees of separation. We all know somebody, folks. Get vocal about it. Rep it. Honor yourself and say, hey, I'm a gun owner. We need these people involved. And also, start shopping with your money, please. Stop supporting these leftist organizations that are basically defunding you. If you know an organization isn't pro-gun, don't go in there. Don't give them your money. Start pulling your money back and voting with your dollars too. Bankrupt these people. That they have money because you buy their products. Stop doing it. I hope that is an answer for you.
Who's your...
Yes, they are. Learn some financial education as well. Stop buying all the shit you don't need.
Who's your least favorite Colorado politician and why?
Oh, God, catching. Well, I cannot stand Tom Sullivan. I think he's a pompous fucktard, pardon my French, but I really would just like to slap the shit out of not only Lorena Garcia, but also Julie Gonzalez. That panzona. Yeah, fuck that bitch. She's nobody to me. She ain't shit. I just can't stand her, especially being Chicana and from this community. It's disgusting to see people taking advantage of their community and gaslighting them and telling them that they're supposed to vote blue no matter who and still, live off of food stamps and Section 8 and not have any drive because they're gente. That's bullshit. We're Americans first. Joe.
Hey, what's going on, Alicia? So I have a couple questions. Want to riff with you for a second. How big is your classroom? How many people can you fit in your classroom?
I can fit about 18 people comfortably with a table and a chair for educational purposes.
Sounds
Maybe
good.
22 if people just sit on the side. If I take the tables out, I could fit probably 30 to 35 people.
And recently I saw you post something saying that you were offering a deal.
Oh, yes. So right now, we're involved in a lot of these communities like Liberty on the Rocks, all of these pro-freedom communities. I am going to host 2 classes, one in December and one in November. That is going to be a half-off price for everybody that is involved in this community. But here's the caveat to that. You need to show me that you're registered to vote, and you need to show me why you believe in the Second Amendment.
And so I just want to follow that up with everybody in the room. I will pay for one of those classes.
Oh,
out of my
you're so
pocket.
sweet, Joe.
So,
Joe is always so wonderful.
Sign up. That one's on me.
You're so sweet, Joe. Thank you so much.
What is the next event that we can go to tell an anti-gun politician to go fuck themselves?
Well, here's the thing is, if you have to start following these politicians that hate you because they have a lot of town halls. They have a lot of these events that they're putting on. And, if you haven't seen the video, go and check out my video where we went to Chad Clifford's town hall. And we really pissed off Chad Clifford. Eliza Hamrick, yes. I think she's having an event coming up, as well as just local stuff where they're hosting these events. There's an organization, folks, called FIPI, Firearms Industry Prevention Initiative, and it's run by a woman who is basically Colorado's Gabby Gifford. I have some people who are like, she's not that bad, she's looking for solutions, but here's the deal. They're using all of this government money that was it's meant to be for, finding solutions for guns, gun violence. But what they're doing is they're also taking money from every town, from, all of these people, Gabby Giffords for gun control, all of these things to basically force the narrative of what gun safety looks like. And the next big thing that we need to be paying attention to is that they are actively using this research to show that guns are directly correlated to suicide. And what they're going to do is say this is a public health state of emergency. So we're going to bypass your due process. And we're going to declare a public state of emergency, and we're going to confiscate the firearms. That's what they're doing now with red flag laws. And if you're not familiar with red flag laws, I'll happily to have that conversation with you as well. So we really need to pay attention. And back to what you're saying is that you need to get out of your echo chamber, and you need to go sit with these people that hate you. And yes, you know what? You're going to get your ass handed to you by a bunch of hateful people. But you know what? They need to know that we are relentless, and we are not going to stop. Because look at what happened recently in Colorado and what happened nationally. They're willing to kill you because they disagree with you.
So I think that one of the things that's really demoralizing in general, and it's particularly in terms of getting involved and going out there and testifying, is that the people in power seem to really view the Constitution as irrelevant, and all of our constitutional rights as irrelevant and not really. So what would you say to someone that feels totally defeated looking at what's happening there?
Put that H on your chest and fucking handle it. Because guess what? The world's a dangerous place, folks. I feel defeated every day, and you know what I do? I pick myself up, I look in the mirror, and I said, you know what? I'm my dad's fucking daughter, man. I'm my niece's hero. If I accept defeat, I'm literally telling everybody else that it's okay. I get my ass handed to me every legislative session, folks. I am literally the notoriously bad girl of the 2A. I don't give a shit. And you need to stop caring about your feelings so much. We're not fucking Democrats. This isn't Joe Biden bullshit. Okay? Get uncomfortable. Comfort is the killer of dreams. If you feel defeated, you know what that means? You need to remind yourself who the fuck you are. Go bust a cap. Call me. Let's go shoot.
I had a quick question. So I appreciate that you said don't support these companies that hate you. Can't agree with that anymore. Can you name some of your favorite companies that are freedom companies, not just for guns, but just freedom companies in general?
My pillow, bitch. I actually sleep with my pillows at my best friend's house. He has so many of them. But start looking in organizations like mom and pop shops, right? In Thornton, Colorado, there's dairies. There's the McIntosh Dairy. You can go buy grass-fed dairy from a local farmer. Do I know his name? Hell no, but I know his name is McIntosh Dairy. And I know he speaks cash. Do you see what I'm saying? Start having conversations with people and ask them about their small business. When you go to your hairstylist, ask her what her political affiliation is. If they don't align with your beliefs, guess what? Take your money away. And one of the things that we did when we're creating the second syndicate, and I want to really do a call to action to you guys out here. If you have a skill set, if you know how to build a website, if you know how to market, if you know how to do things, there's a reason we're called the second syndicate. This isn't just about me and the people who founded this. This is about you. This is about you guys. A syndicate is a network of individuals coming together under like-mindedness to create a plethora of a network, right? So if you know a small business like, hey, they're pro 2A and he's an electrician, send me to him. I will put him on my website. If you have a mom and pop shop that are conservative, they protect conservative values, like that coffee shop in Capitol Hill that's being tormented by guys with wieners in dresses, send them to me. I'm going to put them on my website so we can start sending out newsletters to each other and saying, hey, promote these businesses. Because we need to get those words out of there. I love, of course, Spartan Defense. I love Triple J Armory. I love the Chainsaw Caucus. I love me. I'm a small business, bitch. Come support me. Come take a class from me. Yeah. And you know what? That is absolutely true. Stop asking for discounts from your friends, man. Support their businesses because that's how they're going to stay afloat. Pay full price for that gun. Don't wait for the sales. I know everybody's like, oh, we're going to wait until January 1st to buy suppressors. Well, guess what? Stephen Woodrow is rumored that he is going to drop a bill, and it's going to be SB 26, 002. Are you hearing that too, Catching? This one seems to have legs that they're going to try to ban suppressors. So don't ever wait to exercise a right, folks. Don't ever take it for granted. Don't think I'm going to save a couple bucks. You know what? Don't buy that extra pair of shoes you buy all the time. You have enough shoes. Go buy some tools of freedom.
Wonderful speech, amazing stuff. I love all of it. I appreciate everything you do. I will continue to support you and all you do and everyone that's in
Thank
this
you.
room, because that's just what I do. I just yell at people on the internet about good things and about bad things. But question: what is your favorite small firearm, like handheld firearm? What is your favorite large scale firearm? And your thoughts on the recent Supreme Court ruling that they kicked it back to the states as far as I believe it was Ocean Tac, or was it Ocean Tac, or the one regarding the one that they were regarding the semi-automatic, or the AR-15. I don't know if you're aware. So it was like a Supreme Court case. They had it was Ocean Tac and was it Brown?
Is it Garland v. Brown? I think that's what it is.
I believe
Is that-
so. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Honestly, there are so many cases that are going on right now. I can't keep track of all of them because if you don't remember what I said, there was 24 local cases. And when I'm attending a lot of these events, all of these, parties are so focused on federal elections right now. It doesn't matter right now, guys. You need to get involved in state stuff. So I've tend to focused only on what's going on here in my own backyard. I have really good friends like Mr. Guns and Gadgets, my friend Jared Yanis. We text and we talk about national stuff. I have my friend Mike, Mr. Guns and Gear. We talk about that. But honestly, I'm worried about my own home right now. The feds they have Trump. We have a pretty good thing going on right now federally. We need to focus on state stuff, so I really don't get involved in those things. We did hear today that it is unconstitutional carry a gun in a post office, which is great. And as soon as I get more updates on that, I'll share that. So please go to the Second Syndicate and sign up for our newsletter and send us your email. Also, I do this for free. So when I go down to the Capitol and I testify, I'm not working, folks. So you can also donate to me if you want. If you need equipment, any of that stuff you guys want to donate to me, I really appreciate it because it helps me go down there and keep fighting. You asked me about what my a small size handgun is.
Favorite short, favorite big.
That's hard because it depends on what I'm shooting. Right now, I am very, very precise with my P365 XL 6 Sauer with an Icarus modification on it with some goon tape around the grip and a Romeo X. That's what my everyday carry is. I just recently acquired the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. That's a 380, 12 stack mag, and it fits in my tiny ass little Muppet ass hand. So I'm having a great time with that. When it comes to big guns, yes. I love to shoot guns. I firmly believe everybody deserves to have at least 3 guns, a handgun, a rifle, and a shotgun. So if you don't have those, get at me and let me know and I can make that happen for you. But the best gun that you ever shot is the one you should be carrying. If you can't shoot that gun one-handed, it is not your everyday carry. Find something else. It should be that sincere love relationship that even if I leave my cell phone behind, I got my gat. And I could fit you to a firearm. I actually brought some yellow guns today, and I'll stay a little while if you guys want to learn how to buy a firearm, how to fit a firearm, how to properly grip and stand a firearm. I'm happy to show you.
Last question.
Kind of maybe personal, but you said that you carry a gun. Do you do it right now? If you do it, it's very concealed, and I respect it.
I don't know what you said. So you said what?
Do you carry your gun right now?
Yes.
Very concealed.
Yes.
I respect it.
Well, I also have 2 guns in that bag over there.
No, I'm talking
And
about
I also-
right now on your body.
Yes, I have a gun on my body. Now everybody's looking at my body, and I'm extremely uncomfortable. I'll just give you all a full turn here. That's the goal. Am I blushing? I'm probably blushing.
That's our talk. Give it up for Alicia.
Thank you, guys.